You know that coffee you bought this morning? What if I told you that simple choice has the power to shape the entire global economy? It sounds kind of crazy, right? But that's really the heart of microeconomics. It's the science of looking at all the small, individual choices we make every single day. What we buy, where we decide to work, how much we save, and seeing how those tiny decisions create these massive ripples across the world.
I mean, seriously, just think about that for a second. Your decision to buy that one cup of coffee, or a local shop's choice to hire just one more person. How on earth do those tiny individual actions ripple out and affect the huge, complex ocean that is our economy? Well, that's the big puzzle we're going to start piecing together today.
So when you're faced with a puzzle that enormous, where do you even begin? Well, economists have a pretty clever trick up their sleeves. Instead of getting overwhelmed by the whole picture at once, they use two completely different lenses to see how all the pieces fit together.
And those two lenses are, you guessed it, microeconomics and macroeconomics. Microeconomics, that's our zoom lens. It focuses right in on the individual units, one person, a single family, a specific company. And then you've got macroeconomics, which is the wide-angle lens. It zooms way out to look at all those units combined, the entire economy as a whole. Think of it like this. Micro is studying a single unique tree, while macro is studying the whole forest.
For this explainer, we're grabbing our magnifying glass. We are zooming way in to get that micro view, to really understand the individual little pieces of this huge economic puzzle.
So what is microeconomics really? Well, at its core, it's the study of these specific individual parts of the economy. And the name totally gives it away. Micro literally means a very small portion. So we're not talking about big national unemployment rates here. We're trying to figure out why, say, your local bookstore decided to hire a new cashier this week. The economist Kenneth E. Boulding just nailed this idea. He said that in microeconomics, we're studying particular firms, particular families, and individual prices. See that pattern? It's all about getting down to the nitty-gritty specifics.
Okay, but you might be thinking, why bother? Why spend so much time studying just one little tree? Well, it turns out that this super-focused micro view is incredibly powerful and has some amazing real-world uses.
You see, this micro-level view unlocks some incredible insights. First, it helps us understand why people behave the way they do. You know, why you pick one brand of cereal over another. That understanding, in turn, helps policymakers create smarter, more effective economic policies that actually work for people. And on a super practical level, it gives businesses, and even you and me, the tools to solve our own specific financial problems.
But like any powerful tool, that magnifying glass has some serious blind spots. When you're so hyper-focused on one tiny little piece of the puzzle, it's actually really easy to miss the bigger picture completely.
So what's the core problem here? Microeconomics, by its very nature, can totally ignore the economy as a whole. And here's the catch. What's good for one person might be an absolute disaster if everyone did it. This is exactly why it's the wrong tool for tackling huge issues like international trade. It often has to make these assumptions that seem reasonable for one person but just fall apart when you scale them up to an entire country.
Let me give you a brilliant example of this, something the source material calls the high post fallacy. Okay, so from an individual's point of view, getting a prestigious, high-paying job is a huge win, right? Of course. So, following that logic, wouldn't it be amazing if everyone in the country had a high post? Well, not so fast. Think about it. If everyone is a manager, who's actually doing the work? Who's sweeping the streets? Who's building the houses or making that coffee we were talking about? This is the key takeaway. What's good for the individual can be terrible for the group. A country full of bosses and no workers would, as the source so vividly puts it, quickly become a dustbin.
And all of this brings us to what might be the most important point of all. This isn't about micro versus macro. It's not a fight. It's about realizing you absolutely need both lenses to see the whole true economic picture.
Micro and macroeconomics are not opponents, they're partners. They're two essential complementary tools that we need to understand our incredibly complex world. You need the magnifying glass of micro to see all the crucial details, and you need the wide-angle lens of macro to understand the grand design. One just doesn't work without the other.
So I'll leave you with a question to chew on. What small micro decision will you make today? What you choose to buy, or maybe what you choose to save, or even what you choose to learn that could end up having the biggest macro impact on the world around you? It's a powerful thought, isn't it?